Hello and welcome to today's tutorial. So basically we're going to be looking at a piece by a band called Glass Peaks that I'm currently working on at the minute. I'm going to play you first of all what we've got in the verse with their vocal, and then I'm going to play you a version with just the vocal with no effects on it, and just basically kind of give you an idea of how we can get a lead vocal to pop and cut through a track without being ridiculously over processed. So here we go. Okay, now we're going to play the exact same bit, but we're going to mute the main vocal and just put an unaffected version of that vocal, and you're just going to hear how it's just kind of buried behind the track. Okay, so the way we're going to approach this is, first of all, we're going to do a bit of work directly on the vocal, and then we're going to discuss how we can actually use a bit of parallel processing on this vocal to make it pop out. So the first thing I would really recommend that you do is look at compression. So let's just play this vocal by itself and have a listen.
I've been living local, but I haven't said hello.
So on the input, the way I've recorded this is actually through a compressor, so it is slightly compressed, but there's no harm in, layering compressors on top of each other. In fact, it's a really good way of getting the vocal to sit naturally in a mix without like one compressor just destroying the vocal. So even just by adding this,
I've been living local,
it's already making it pop a little bit. So I'd go for a ratio about
a month or so ago.
Brilliant. Let's have a little listen. Cool. Okay, so already it's starting to pop through. In terms of EQ, if you've got a good vocal take, all I'd do is something like that. Just cut out any shit down there. No need to boost anything. I tend not to go crazy with EQs on vocals because I tend to find they sound, if you've done a good job recording, it's best to leave it sounding quite natural. So what we're going to do, we're going to create what's called a summing folder. So I think if we right click and create track stack and go to summing track here and click create, we get this. Okay. And basically all this does, it takes the main vocal and sums it through there. And then what I like to do is start using sends and sum them out to this. So we're going to call this Glass Peaks demo vocals. So the way we're going to do this parallel processing is, if we go to a send, go to a bus. I've got tons of these. Let's just go to one where I haven't got anything yet about here. Okay, bus 224. Okay, make sure you click on that bus, and you want the output of this bus to go to this guy, Glass Peaks demo vocal, which is bus 96. So from 224 goes into bus 96. So we go down here. Oh, I've gone too far. There we go, sorted. Okay, and then what I like to do is start doing some parallel compression. So for this, all you do is load on a compressor. And I almost like to set this up before I actually start listening to it. And the great thing about parallel compression is you can be quite aggressive with it, because you're blending it with the main track. It doesn't really sound too harsh. So I'd straight away go for this Studio FET compressor because it sounds really aggressive. Go for a fairly low threshold and maybe go for like a 7:1 ratio. And then all we do, we start playing the vocal track, and then we just bring up the send as we're playing it.
I've been living local, but I haven't said hello until about a month or so ago.
There we go. So before, after.
About your kind of type.
So already, again, it's just like popping massively. It's sounding great. The other thing you can do if you're really struggling to get it to, you know, reveal itself in the track is actually use this distortion bit here. So this will be a bit overkill on this track at the minute, but
I've been living local, but I haven't said hello until about a month or so ago.
so already, again, it is sounding great. And there's no reason why you can't do this several times. It doesn't just have to be done once. So if you wanted to add another compressor onto it, you know, go for it. So let's just quickly do that. Let's just do a completely different compressor. This one. Why not? Let's push this down.
I've been living local.
I'm just putting a gain effect on this and just reducing the gain so it's a bit quieter, as actually layering all these compressors is starting to get a bit too loud for the track. I'm just going to put a limiter on it to stop any transients popping and creating any distortion. Cool, so the next thing we can do to make it sound a bit bigger is start playing about with reverb. So I tend to layer my reverbs as well. So I'll do two different ones. I'll do a short tail reverb, which just creates a sense of depth. I don't know how else to describe it. It makes it sound like it's a bit more three-dimensional without necessarily being like in your face, like, oh shit, there's tons of reverb. And then the other one I tend to do is a plate reverb, which just helps blend it into the track. So we'll start off with this. So again, oh, I've gone to the wrong thing, haven't I? So make sure we're bussing things right. There we go, to 224. What am I doing? It's the wrong thing. Class Peaks demo vocal. Make sure you get this right, otherwise it'll just create chaos. So good one for this to start with would be, in fact, actually both of these are probably quite good with Space Designer. So let's just go for a reflection room. So if we go into small spaces, rooms, reflection room, I'm just going to push this through.
I've been living local, but I haven't said hello until about a month or so ago.
So without,
you were pretty vocal about your kind of type. Thought I couldn't let this one pass by.
sounds nice. Yeah, it just helps it cut a little bit better. Okay, and then the next thing we can do is a plate reverb. And again, just the same kind of thing. Go into route everything correctly, then go into Space Designer. Here we go. And if we go to, let's go for a large one. So if we go to large, then we've got plate reverbs, vocal plate. Why not? It says vocals on it and we're doing vocals. Happy days. So now let's blend this in.
I've been living local, but I haven't said hello until...
Sounds lovely. So we're going to take the reverbs off.
I've been living local, but I haven't said hello.
Sounds nice.
Till about a month or so ago.
Yeah, sounds good. So next thing we want to do is on this bus that we've got here, we're going to actually compress it all. So with this, again, we just stick a compressor on it. And a good one to use for bus compression is, I think, this one, Vintage VCA. Yeah, this is the one. Looks like an SSL 500 kind of compressor, which is known for gluing stuff together. So again, let's have a listen to this without and with.
I've been living local, but I haven't said hello till about a month or so.
And again, you can use this distortion to create a bit of saturation to help it, you know, pop through the mix a bit more again.
I've been living local, but I haven't said hello till about a month or so ago. You were pretty vocal about your kind of type. I thought I couldn't let this one pass by.
And already there, we've got something that's sounding, you know, it's already cutting through the mix really nicely. The next things to really do would just be obviously putting a bit of a Deesser on it to stop that piercing sound. Oops, that's the wrong one. The new Logic Deesser is pretty good. I normally aim for about 7,500 wide and one of these.
I've been living local, but I haven't said hello till about a month or so ago.
Yeah, sounding nice. And then again, it's all just effects to taste really after this. Once you've got your vocal sounding like this, the things I like to do are things like adding delays. Again, all through parallel processing rather than sticking it on the actual vocal track. It just helps it blend into the song a lot nicer and in a lot more natural way. I tend to use this guy, Replica XT. I find that just sounds amazing. But there's nothing wrong with the stereo delay in Logic. And if we just go to something like eighth notes, that should be fine. Again, just blend it in. Let's have a listen.
I've been living local, but I haven't said hello until about a month or so ago. You were pretty vocal about your kind of type. I thought I couldn't let this one pass by.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
I've been living local, but I haven't said hello until...
So let's compare. We're going to start off with just the vocal as it was before we started doing any effects with it. So that would literally be this.
I've been local, but I haven't said hello till about a month or so ago. You were pretty vocal about your kind of type. Thought I couldn't let this one pass by. I've been living local, but I haven't said hello till about a month or so ago. You were pretty vocal about your kind of type. I thought I couldn't let this one pass by. I've been living local, but I haven't said hello until about a month or so ago.
And there we go. And that's basically how you can make a vocal pop out, especially a lead vocal. And then following that, once you've got to this kind of point, you just get creative with it. You know, start doubling vocals, layering it with different harmonies and stuff like that, and it will sound amazing. And the great thing about this technique, it works across all genres really, because you're doing everything in parallel. It sounds quite natural in most cases, but obviously use your ears and yeah, see what works for you. But yeah, I hope that helped. And yeah, I'll give it one last play.
I've been living local, but I haven't said hello until about a month or so ago. You were pretty vocal about your kind of type. I thought